Divorced Dads Club podcast, made for the dads going through their single fatherhood journey, where we discuss everything about life as a divorced dad, from men's mental health, personal growth and development, dating as a divorced dad, navigating new relationships, co-parenting, parenting children of divorce, kids' mental health, and much, much more. Listen to interviews with subject matter experts, other divorced dads, and their experiences, as well as tips and helpful tidbits for you to take on your own journey. I'm your host, Elle. Welcome and thank you for joining us for our first ever episode of the Divorced Dads Club podcast. I'm thrilled to be launching this podcast, and it's been a long time in the making. The Divorced Dads Club is a combination of what fuels some of my passions in personal growth and development, mental health, empowerment, and most of all, supporting parents to help their families to thrive while leading a positive and happy life. Just a quick intro for you to get to know a little bit about me. My aspirations to be a family and divorce lawyer has helped me realize that I'm not made for the contentious side of the law. Although it was an insightful experience into the process, I don't think that path was meant for me. After having been redirected in my path, I knew deep inside my soul that I would still do something related to family law, divorce, and helping families. I believe that's what has led me here. My journey as a single parent myself, I know the struggles, challenges, and rewards of the experience. I want to be able to share some of those lessons and experiences with other single parents through this community. So more specifically, single dads. I want to talk to them about their journeys through insightful and candid conversations in this podcast. I hope to bring some great guests that will provide some helpful tips, but also talk about lessons that you can have as takeaways to use in your daily life as well. Without further ado, let's get this started. First off, I want to introduce you to a very special guest today, who happens to be a great friend of mine, Rebecca Nobrega. She's such an incredible soul doing incredible things in this world with her many talents. Rebecca is a multi-talented, multi-passionate queen who's the woman behind her very own podcast, Unapologetically Audacious. She's also the host of another podcast, Film Unfiltered. She has co-launched Ignite Your Soul, an inspirational group for soul-aligned women, as well as her 7-year philanthropic effort to help the homeless and less fortunate, leading to the official upcoming launch of her non-for-profit, Aspire to Inspire. Rebecca has been such a source of inspiration for myself and a driving force for me to bring my idea of the Divorced Dads Club to reality today. She's been there along the way and really sees the vision and the passion that I have for this community. So I thought, who better to help me launch my very first episode than her? Also, with her background in media, I thought no one is more qualified to be my interviewer for today's episode. So we'll just get right into it. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Queen. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast and for that very sweet introduction. I have to say that it's actually an honor and a privilege for me to be alongside you. I'm getting emotional. Oh my goodness. On this journey. I'm really honored that you've asked me to interview you for this. And I just want to preface this podcast by saying that you're amazing. And it's not just because I'm your friend, but this is this is you. This is unapologetically you, and I can't wait to see how the world reacts to this beautiful thing that you're going to be sharing.
Thank you so much. I couldn't have done this without you, and you know the journey I've been on and how there would be nobody better to launch this and to be here on the very first episode of this podcast that we've talked about for so long. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You're a huge blessing and such an inspiration to me. So I'm so glad that you're here.
Okay, who's flattering who and who's making who blush?
I don't even know. We could go on and on.
We could go on and on, but let's give the listeners what they came here for, in the sense of you've launched this incredible business. And yes, we've been friends for quite a while, and I've heard about this incredible idea since its inception, and so I know all about it. But I want you to first tell us is what is it? What's the Divorced Dads Club? What is this podcast? Tell us about this incredible thing that you've created. What is it all about?
So the Divorced Dads Club is twofold. It's a community and support network for men currently in the process of divorce, but also individual support for men who are going through it. They're in the trenches, going through the emotional and sometimes traumatic, stressful time in their lives, transitioning from a marriage, going through divorce, and trying to figure out what's next for them and how to get to the other side. Also, individual support for men to have a safe place and have someone to lean on, support them, and guide them through this confusing, emotionally taxing transition in their life. Many men suffer through this time alone, without a single person to lean on. I know the importance of maintaining your mental health to function as a human being, but also the increasing numbers of male suicide is astonishing. Having a community to connect with and an outlet to speak about what someone is experiencing will hopefully help in decreasing that statistic, but also creating a positive community for dads to help them thrive and feel positive about moving forward in their life. In meeting men going through divorce or have gone through divorce and just trying to figure their life out, trying to figure a path. And through my personal dating experience and just personal experience inspired me to launch this business. And the podcast is sort of an extension of that where they can get more resources. We will have candid conversations and topics and things for them to learn about and hear from people who may be experiencing some of the same experiences that they have and kind of learn from that.
So that sounds really incredible. And the thing with that, that personally I think is quite inspiring, and I think a lot of men and women alike, to be honest, are going to be inspired by you with this, is you said a lot of this was also based on, some of your own experience, and no one is more equipped to teach and to speak on some of the things that they've actually been through and seen. And so, you know, there really isn't anything like this, right? Right now we're living in this culture, this time where we're seeing a lot of men's talk online, but we're not really seeing anything like this. And this is why I think this is super cool, right? It's so unique. You're actually building a community beyond the conversations that are happening. You're providing this outlet. So the conversations are being had, but you're building this community. What is it about this particular community that you're building where will men find value in? What will they find in this community that they're not going to find in the conversations they're hearing outside of it?
Well, I think building this community will be really unique because it's a place where they can come together, they can feel safe, they can talk, they can meet other people that are going through the same things and they can connect, make, long lasting friendships, I'm hoping, and just feel like they're not alone. I will be there to support them, but I think some of the people that they'll meet along the way will be like, wow, I'm not alone in this and the things that they're going through as well. And I think that's really, really important because beyond the conversations that are happening around men's mental health and what's going on, I think it's an extension of that and it's a place to really talk more about it and unpack and, just really dissect some of these issues that they're talking about.
And so, to kind of elaborate a little bit more on some of those things that you're saying, now, I know we've had conversations about the development of your business, but even with what you're saying, it really does sound like divorced men are an underserved population to a certain degree, which is why a lot of these conversations are being had. In your opinion, why do you think why do you think that is?
I think there's not enough men that are speaking up about their traumas, their troubles, and what they're going through. I think it's just how they're built, where they just kind of sweep everything under the rug. They're in society. I mean, they've been told that they can't talk about their feelings. Men aren't allowed to cry. They can't be soft and vulnerable. And part of this movement, I almost want to say, of the Divorced Dads Club is allowing them to be that, to give them that space to say it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to open up, it's okay to talk about your feelings, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be emotional, it's okay to tell us about what you're thinking right now. It's such a difficult time that people go through as a transition into a different phase of their lives, and a lot of people are really lost and really in despair. I think that that's going to be the biggest draw for men to come together in this community and find each other and find that support that they really need, because that they can't get through their friends or their family or anybody else.
It sounds like there's going to be then indirectly, you know, this personal development journey that these men are going to be on. So they're coming into this, what you're saying, some of them have experienced, they have different experiences. Some are coming in with trauma, whatever it looks like for them. They're
Mhm.
going to have each other to lean on, but equally, part of this is becoming a better version of themselves to, to be the best that they can be, but also attract and move on into, a relationship that's more in alignment with their best self, right? So i- how how will Divorce Dads Club allow them beyond the community?
Mhm.
What is it that they have to do? Because it's a collaborative effort, right?
Mhm.
You get what you give in a way. And forgive
Mhm.
me if I'm not phrasing this correctly. Hopefully, you can get what I'm saying. How can they be better versions of themselves through this?
That's a very good question, Rebecca. The main theme of the Divorce Dads Club is really transformation. It's each and every person's transformational journey towards their best self. And everyone will be at different phases in their lives and in their process of divorce, being the next phase of their life and what that looks like and who will they will be. The main component of that will be healing, which is kind of interesting. It's a little plug for an upcoming episode, but it's really somebody's healing journey to begin to transform their lives. It's going to be a community and of like-minded men who are ready to transform themselves, transform their life, and really grow from the experiences that they would have and would be experiencing during this time.
It's the ultimate outlet to level up for these men in
Mhm.
every kind of aspect in the most positive, beautiful way. And I just want to touch on something you mentioned, as well, how, we're in a time, or not necessarily we're in a time, but men have sort of been taught where they can't be soft, they can't be vulnerable. And the conversations that are being had right now, a lot of it is the, identifying what, divine masculinity is. And part of that is being in tune with the masculine but the feminine, because each person, we have both. So it sounds like through Divorce Dads Club, not only, they're going to be transforming themselves, but they'll be able to really embody that divine masculinity that also emulates that feminine energy. And I don't mean that they're feminine. What I mean is the softness, the
Mhm.
warmth, the ability to communicate, having the ability to be emotionally mature in the
Mhm.
sense of, communicating their feelings, and then in
Mhm.
turn getting to know yourself a little bit, understanding yourself, reflecting, and then
Mhm.
not only will you be better for you, so long as you're better for you, you can be better and show up better for someone else, because the divorced dad is going to come into this wanting to transform,
Mhm.
but they're also going to want to receive, perhaps a new and welcome a new relationship. So it'll be so important to, imagine having that full circle moment, the transformation, and then attracting, a mirror image of this new version of you.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that'll be phase two, and that'll be maybe the end of the process for this for them. And it would just be mainly, I think, yeah, absolutely, like stepping into that divine masculinity, but knowing the femininity in it as well, being the best version of themselves, but for themselves, but also for their children. I think more importantly is what I would like to see in their transformation, so that then they can be ready for that next phase.
So, with Divorce Dads Club, there's going to be a lot, it's going to pique a lot of men's interest. There's no doubt about that. There's nothing like that. You're building a community. You're building this place where men are literally going to walk in one way and step out a new man, and hopefully forge and cultivate different relationships that will also help them continue on this journey of transformation and ultimately propel them toward their best possible self. So, of course, with change can come fear, can come a little bit of apprehension. What would you say to those who might have a little bit of fear or are a little bit apprehensive about joining, what would you say to them?
The best piece of advice to begin with that I would tell anybody would be everything that's worth it is on the other side of fear. So I could understand and appreciate the resistance, because anything that comes with change is a little bit scary. You're venturing into the unknown, and but that's okay. That's part of the journey, and that's part of life, right? I'm sure they can relate to that, and that will resonate with a lot of people when they think back and say, well, a lot of the great things that I've achieved in my life were things I was afraid of. So I think that's a really good starting point for anybody who feels that resistance or uncertainty.
Fantastic. And you say it so simply, right? And so I feel like, one of the big takeaways even out of this whole conversation and having, have had the honor of being by your side while discovered this, is it really just starts with the first step. And just like you mentioned, on the other side of fear is something really amazing. And so, I'm sure without doubt, people will be that much more willing to dive in, because while the work can trigger some uncomfortability and discomfort, it
Mhm.
leads to something so much greater. And that is what you're building. That is what this
Mm.
legacy is going to be. That is the major takeaway here. So, for anybody listening, she's got something here,
Mm.
and it's something that you'll want to be on board with. And while this does cater to men primarily, I can honestly say that a lot of what you will be teaching and a lot of the values and principles that you're going to be putting into this is something that everybody can learn something from. And that's, for me, what really stands out about your business as well, is that fundamentally, one of the major things that really stands out is that your values and principles are honestly universal. And while it seems so simple, it does require that work. But once you do start leading a life of applying those things, I really feel like what your community is going to lead to is harmony. Harmony in
Mhm.
oneself, harmony
Mhm.
in life, harmony in your relationships. And so I really do applaud you, and I do truly wish you nothing but endless success and abundance, because I feel like what people are going to get out of this is something that they didn't even know they needed until they started, and all they have to do is trust and take the first step. So congratulations, truly. And before I pass it off to you, there was a final question I had for you, and that was, what can people really, what can people expect from you now? What is coming? What is to come?
In addition to the beautiful community and connections that we'll have, and part of what's going to be part of that will be events that we'll have both online and in person, hopefully, since we're post pandemic and we're doing things in person again. I'd love to have in person events for everybody in the Divorced Dads Club and their families. I want to have, family oriented events, but individual oriented events. And we are working on our launch party. So please look out for that. And lots of exciting things to come. So, in addition to the membership in the club, I will be offering one-on-one coaching as well for those who want one-on-one time and want to be able to work on what they're going through separately and be able to unpack and talk about things. You can hear more about that in the coming weeks and through our website, which I will tell you about in the end.
Absolutely amazing. Everything sounds amazing, guys. If you're listening to this, you need to get on this. You need to jump on it. Jump, don't walk. Run, don't walk, literally. Um, Honestly, again, my friend, congratulations. This is incredible. I'm so excited to see, you know, everything that you've worked towards materialize and come to life, and the launch party and this community that you're building. It is something that is truly wonderful and couldn't come at the more perfect time. So congratulations again, and truly thank you again for trusting in me to interview you for your very first episode. And congratulations to that, and just everything that's to come. So much love and abundance is coming to you, and you deserve it and more.
I can't thank you enough. And thank you for always uplifting me and being that voice of support. And also, thank you for joining me and helping me introduce the Divorced Dads Club through this episode. I appreciate you and everything that you've done to help me push me through to get here. So, to everyone listening, please have a listen to Rebecca's podcast, Unapologetically Audacious. And please tell everyone where they can find you.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can find my podcast, Unapologetically Audacious. I am on Instagram, so you can find me there. Yeah, it focuses on all things leading, living, your life completely unapologetically you, being brave, being bold to be you because you're enough simply because you exist.
Amazing. You are incredible. And thank you again, Rebecca, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for everyone who listened to the launch of our first episode. Please connect with us on our social media, the Divorced Dads Club on Facebook and Instagram, and our website is thedivorceddadsclub.com. We look forward to having you listen to our next and upcoming episodes. And to all you men out there listening, we hope to see you join the club.